Hi, in today's video we're going to be using Python to search through a subtitles file, a VTT file, for a particular word or phrase. We're going to grab the timestamps for the start of the sentence and the end of the sentence containing that word. We're going to create a CSV file and then use that CSV file with ffmpeg to actually create clips containing the word or phrase in the sentence. So we're going to use three things for this. We're going to use whisperx, Python, and the scene cut to script I showed you in an earlier video. So first of all, what we want to do is have whisperx here to actually create the VTT subtitles. So what I'm going to do is switch across to the terminal, and I'm on NixOS here. So what I'm going to do is run nix develop in this directory that contains the flake.nix file whisperx, and this will dump me into a shell. I can use the whisperx command. So what we're going to be doing once that's started up is running this whisperx command here. Whisperx video -- device CUDA model small language English output format VTT. So let's see if this is started yet. So this can take a second or two to kick in. Okay, here we go, copying to the store. Once this is started up, what we're going to do is we're going to process this video on the desktop by Rubenstein, which is Newcastle agree 40 million signing Malik Thal. And what we're going to be doing is actually searching for the word Malik in the subtitles we're going to create. And we're going to be using a Python script that I got Google Gemini to create that's going to go through the subtitles file and search for a particular word or phrase and then create the CSV file. So what we can see here is we now have whisperx set up. So I'm going to run cd desktop, and what I'm going to do is just copy this bit of the command here. Whisperx Newcastle, and it's going to take a second or two, and I'll provide links to all this so you can actually use these Nix flakes if you're on NixOS. If you're not on NixOS, you're going to have to manually install whisperx. But the advantage of using flakes on Nix is that you can actually set up a sort of development environment with everything installed, and it won't interfere with anything else on the system. So you can see here, this is just about to kick in and start creating the transcript. Here we go. And the phrase we're actually going to be searching for is Malik, M-A-L-I-K. I believe it's going to be actually translated to, we'll have to have a look and just see. Sometimes it actually pronounces it, converts things to how it's spelled phonetically, like Gehi, as you can see down here. Is it not the correct spelling, but that's how it would be pronounced phonetically, as it were. So the advantage of whisperx over whisper is it's a lot faster, basically. And as I said, I've got this set up with CUDA on NixOS so that it's actually going to go through this 20-minute video. So we can see down here, Malik, M-A-L-I-K. And the script that we're going to be using is case insensitive, so we can just type it in lowercase. And what it's going to do is it's actually going to search for every sentence containing the word Malik that ends with a period, and it's going to get the starting timestamp, and then it's going to get the ending timestamp from the VTT file. It's going to create a CSV file with the start time and the end time. Okay, so I'll exit that now. And what I'm going to do now is switch over to my Python shell. So I'll run nix develop. Okay, CD desktop. And what we're going to do is just have a look at the VTT file it's created. So the reason I'm telling you to use a VTT file instead of an SRT file is because there is a difference between how they are formatted, and that difference is, as you can see here, what we have is, this is showing minutes, seconds, and then dot milliseconds. SRT files actually use a comma instead of a period here, and the comma is a character that ffmpeg doesn't actually understand, so that's why we need to use a SRT file, a VTT file rather. So we've done the first step. We've used whisperx to create the VTT subtitles. So the next step is using the subtitle-search.py script. And the way we do that is by running Python subtitle-search.py -input, the path to the VTT file, -p, the word or phrase we're searching for, and then optionally -o for the output file we want to create. So Python 3 subtitle-search-i Newcastle VTT P, and we're going to search for Malik. Okay, you can see that spit it out quite quickly. And what we're going to do is actually come across here, and you'll see cut list by phrase.csv. And what you'll see here is a list of timestamps. And what I've done is I've actually set the script to prepend the hour. So we've got hours, minutes, seconds, dot milliseconds. So this is the start time of a sentence containing the word Malik. And this is the end time. So we can see Malik is mentioned 9 times in separate sentences in the video. So what we now do, I can exit that shell. What I can do is run scene cut to -h for the help. So all we do is give it the input file, which is the video to process, and -c for the cut list, which is the CSV file. So scene cut to -i Newcastle mkv-c and the cut list.csv by phrase. And what this is now doing is it's using those timestamps to go through the video and chop it up into different clips, basically. So you can see this is the first clip. Second, so there's 9 clips in total. And what it's going to do is the output file name will contain the input file name without the extension, and then in brackets, the start time followed by the end time and then the extension. And this will allow you to see exactly the point in the video that the clip was created from. So this is going to take a second or two to kick in. So what I'll do is actually come through and show you the script. So this is the script that I got Google Gemini to create with a bit of help. Took a while to do, to actually get it right. So these are the things we're sort of importing, and it's using regular expressions to match the timestamps down here. Then it's going to search for a particular word or phrase in the subtitles file, and you can search for multiple phrases at once using the -p option. And here we've got some more stuff. These are regular expressions and splitting stuff. You can have a look through. There's quite a bit of code there, but you'll see down at the bottom the arguments that it accepts. -i for the input, which is the path to the VTT file. -p for the phrase or word you're searching for, and optionally -o for the output file that it's actually going to create. So as you can see, this is almost done. Let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8. And then it's going to be onto the 9th in a second. So once that's finished, what I'll do is I'll actually switch across and open up the videos so you can actually see that the clips actually do contain those phrases. So what I'll do is just switch across here, desktop, and what you'll see is the files that is created. So you can see here, this is the first clip, second, third, fourth, ninth clip. So you'll see each clip has the input file name, dash, the start time, and then the end time. So let's open these up.
In this video as well, but the breaking news on the way out of the stadium is that Newcastle have now agreed a €40 million fee for the AC Milan centre-back Malik Chow.
Okay, there we go, Malik Chow. I won't go through all of them, but you'll get the gist.
That's right, Malik Chow, the player that Newcastle have been linked with for. Reports were that Newcastle placed a €30 million bid that was rejected, and the AC Milan had private conversations with Malik to say...
All right, there you go. Let's do it again.
Reports were that, Malik Chow had said to AC... didn't have... Well, we lost 2-0, so I don't know. Had the...
This is a bit of a longer one.
For what it's worth, I think Jamal Lascelles is okay, and in terms of a rotation player, but
that's a bit of a longer clip, so I won't go through it, but you get the gist. So what I'm just going to do is switch back across to this screen and go through the setup once again. So what I'll do now is just show you the Nix flakes that I created. So what we got here is a directory where I store my development environments using Nix flakes. So first of all, what we have here is whisperx. So we got the flake.nix file and the flake.lock file. And this script here, process whisperx output, is actually used with speaker diarization so that you can actually rename the speakers. By default, when you use speaker diarization, it will say speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3. And what this script does is it allows you to rename those to something like, Bob, John, Kevin, or whatever in the subtitles file, but that's not needed for this. So we'll have a look at the flake.nix file. So this is the flake.nix file for whisperx. And what you'll see here is we are using NixOS Unstable. We allow unfree. We install CUDA. Some packages that are needed to actually get CUDA, whisperx to work with CUDA. We export some library paths, and we actually set up a virtual environment to install other needed tools. And the reason why I did that was because I found the whisperx command on its own wasn't working with CUDA. So that's the whisperx flake.nix, and put a link to that in the video as well. Then we have a Python virtual environment here as well. Not virtual environment, it's a development shell basically. And this installs Python 3.14. So as I said, all I need to do is actually enter these directories, run nix develop, and it will dump me into a shell with everything configured and ready to go. So that's a really nice feature of NixOS, is that you can create these development environments with everything installed and ready to go. So let's just have a quick look at this again. So the whisperx command, whisperx, the video file, device CUDA, model small, language EN, output format VTT. So that was using the whisperx I think I may have spelt that wrong. Maybe not. I don't know. So that's the whisperx command. Then we had the subtitle search, and the way we use that is with Python 3 subtitle search -i input.vtt, the name of the VTT file, -p, and the word or phrase we're searching for. And we can use the -p option multiple times to search for multiple different words or phrases in a sentence. And then what it will do is it will actually go through and create the timestamps with the starting timestamp and the ending timestamp for the sentence, put them in the CSV file. I also created another script here called subtitle-sentence. And what that does is that creates a CSV file for every sentence in a VTT file that ends with a period. So if you want to split a video up based on the sentences, that script will do it. Same kind of thing. You just give it a VTT file and it will go through and create a CSV file. Then what we did was we used the scene cut to script, which I showed you in a previous video. And what we have here is the usage, error messages, check the number of arguments passed to the script. We have the get ops, and that's the options that we use with the script. -i for the video file, -c for the CSV file. We then get the file name without the path or the extension. So it doesn't say home, username, desktop, the name of the file and plus the extension. This just gets the file name without the extension so that we can create the clips with the file name, the start time, the end time, and then the extension. Then what we have here is the trim video function that I showed you in the previous video. And what we have up here is output, which is used down here, is the input name, start and end. The most important thing here we have is no stdim, which means no standard in, which is needed to avoid clashes with the read command, which is further down in the script. So what we do is we pass in the start time to, so this is the position. There's a difference between to and t. I think they're interchangeable. Basically, if you have t or to before the -i option, it will cut a clip to the position in the video. If you place it after the -i option, it will record for that duration. So, for example, if you had a clip that started at 1 minute and you set it to, you wanted to record to 1 minute 30, having the to option before I will record from 1 minute to 1 minute 30, which would be a 30-second clip. If you place the -t option after -i, it will record for a duration. So it will record from 1 minute to 2 minute 30, because 1 minute 30 is the duration it would actually record for. We then have the audio codec we're going to use, AAC, the video codec here, the PIX format YUV420, which is needed for certain video players like QuickTime or VLC. They choke if you don't have that option. We then have the move flags with the fast start option and an MP4 container. So what that means is the video is web streamable. So if you upload the MP4 somewhere, it won't have to buffer the whole video before it can play. And then we have the output, which is going to be the output file name. So that's the input, the start time, the end time, and the file extension. And then what we have down here, this is the bit of code that actually goes through the cut file. So the cut file is the CSV file. So what this does is it sets the IFS to comma. So let me just come across to the desktop. So what you'll see here, this is the start time, comma, end time. So what this does is this sets start to be equal to what's before the comma and end to what is after the comma. It basically, it's a loop, and what it does is it's a while loop, and what it does is we redirect the cut file into the while loop, and it runs the trim video function defined above, and these start and end times correspond to this start and end up here, start and end here, and that's what basically generates the clips with the correct start and end time. Okay, and so again, the scene cut to usage, basically all we have to do is run scene cut to -i, the video file we're going to process, -c, the CSV file we're going to actually use with the timestamps to chop the video up. Let me just get some tea. So pretty straightforward. And as I said, what it's useful for is if you want to go through and search through a video for particular phrases or words and create clips from them. So what we can do here is if I open the VTT file and the cut list, okay, so let's just zoom that in. So we can see the first clip that it's creating is from 21 seconds to 36 seconds. So if we come down here, 21 to 36, here we go. We can see Malik Chow. So what I can do is actually just come through and search for Malik. Okay, so that's right, Malik Chow, the player, Newcastle, be linked with 4. So you can see, hang on if I come back. So 122, and this is going to 156 because that's the end of the sentence. So the way I've set this up is that I wanted to create clips that were complete sentences containing a particular phrase. So you can see here 122, and here is the end time 156, 156, 156 to 208. So next one here, 156. Okay, so you can see down here, had private conversations with Malik. So that's 156 to 208, 243 to 249, 243 to 249. So you can see it's not getting the second name spelt correctly each time. So that's why I was searching for Malik. And as I said, this is case insensitive. So you can see here, Malik is with a capital M, but I was searching for lowercase and it still picks it up. So I think you get the gist. All these timestamps in the CSV file correspond to the sentences in the VTT file that have that word or phrase mentioned, and it's going to go through and basically create clips of the whole sentence with that word or phrase in. So it's just something I thought might be useful for work purposes. You know, you've got a long video you want to process, or maybe you just want to kind of pull something out of a video for use in YouTube or whatever, a clip, and rather than kind of having to go through and watch the whole video and then kind of, you know, with a video editor or something, go through and manually cut the video up, that'd take quite a while. So this is a much faster way of doing it. And as I said, we only have 3 things that we need for this. We need whisperx, Python, and the scene2 cut script. the scene cut to script rather. So what I'll do is I'll put links to the whisperx and Python flakes, so that if you're on NixOS, you can basically just dump those into a directory. And then what you do, as I said, Python. So the way you enter the shell is by running nix develop, and that will put you into the shell. Now, to update the script, for example, I updated my system yesterday. So what I needed to do is I needed to update the flake so that things like CUDA, if I come back into the whisperx one, for example, because whisperx is using CUDA, if you have a mismatch between your driver and the environment set up for whisperx, you'll get an 803 error. So what you have to do is, after updating NixOS, what you're going to want to do is nix flake update. And what that will do is that will update the flake.lock file. Let's use bat flake.lock. And what you see here is this is all the hashes for the flake. So what you do is you basically run nix flake update to update the flake, and then you run nix develop, and what it will do, it will then build the latest version of whisperx. And if I just do a ls-a, what you'll see here is the virtual environment it also creates for the packages that are needed. So this is a great way to get whisperx installed, because I tried multiple times on various other Linux distros and always had issues trying to get it to work. Couldn't get the right CUDA version, all that kind of stuff. So basically what you can do is you can just copy this flake.lock and this flake.nix, put it in a directory, run nix develop, and you're good to go. It'll have whisperx set up for you. Same deal with Python. You can just copy these two files if you're on NixOS, and it will set everything up for you. I'm not sure if you can actually use flakes with just Nix PKGs. Nix PKGs is the Nix package manager, which can be installed on distros like Ubuntu. You don't want to try it on Fedora because of I forget what the thing is on Fedora, the security. On Ubuntu it's AppArmor, but trying to get it to work on things like Fedora is a pain. You won't be able to use whisperx, the flake on Ubuntu, because it uses CUDA and stuff, so you need to be on NixOS for that. But this is just an easy way to actually get this all set up. And I said, we just had 3 steps. We went nix develop in the whisperx directory, which created the shell with whisperx installed. We then ran the whisperx command. We then entered the Python shell, ran nix develop. That creates the Python shell. And once we got that set up, we could use the subtitle-search.py script. Again, here's the command that you need to use, which I'll put a link to this document in as well. Once we've done that, that creates a CSV file, and we can use the scene cut to script to basically go through and process the video and chop it up. And this is the output. So there's the original file, there's the VTT file, and here are all the clips it's created. And as I said, the advantage of this, the way I've formatted the script, is that you will have the start time, the end time, so that you can actually go through and check that these match what's actually in the CSV file down here. So you will see exactly where in the video this came from. And it's just a lot quicker than having to manually go through and watch the entire video and listen out for the word Malik and then creating a clip for each occurrence of that. It'll do automatically for you. So that's all for now. I'll stick links to all this under the video and hope that's helpful and you find a use for it.